if you're not able to register in the April 2022, what happens to you? Remember, your time still keeps on running. This is not a deferral. Like I said before, a deferral is when you have registered, we have accepted or approved your registration, and then now you can defer, all the 9 units or specific units. So if you do not register whatsoever, first of all, we don't even know you as Council of Legal Education, and you cannot say later that, since I was having these challenges, I deferred. We do not know that. What we know is you are enrolled in the Kenya School of Law in 2021, and so your time, continues to run. And on the issue of approvals, again, we started approvals, I think last week, this week, and we have already approved some and rejected some. Personally, I have like 10 that I rejected yesterday. So please check your emails. Please check your portals to find out what it is that you have not furnished us. Furnish us in the right fields. If it's an attachment, go to the attachments and attach that document, and it will come to us as a new application. And then if you are compliant, if we find that you're compliant, we will approve. Kindly, and again I stress, upload the right documents. We are looking at them. And I'd advise you, again, check your portals, check your emails. This time up until, I think, beginning of March, because we have started the approvals. On communication, please, in the general notice, we strictly said that we are not going to, not that I'm saying we are not picking calls, but we are encouraging you to use the email address, which I have already put in the chat, examinations@cle.or.ke. Yes, it is, these emails are coming in volumes. We are trying our level best to respond to them. And yes, you'll get some delays here and there, but we are trying our level best to give you the information that you need. Appeals on, I think, yes, I think I have answered the questions.
All right. Let me pick the. I think we'll give Anna a chance later, so that the ones for the school are just a few, so that she can collect all of them and then just give one general overview. So we were as far as local. Why is the deadline for fees 28 yet exams are in April? And another thing, in case one fails to do in April, does one still have their oral project marks if one does in June? And what is the procedure for the same? Thank you. Kipto has directed the question of projects to Miss Anna. That will be picked up. Marcy, how does one confirm they are registered? The portal doesn't allow us once registration is confirmed. Chesire, HELB, what is the question? Osumba, considering that there was an issue with the portal during the first week of registration, will there be an extension of registration period to compensate for lost time? Exams can pick that up. Ogola is asking about project marks. Wafuko also joined at 9 but has been kicked out. I hope you have been able to join. Onyango has been removed from the meeting. They will sort that out. Now, Nyabio is asking if someone is having trouble with online registration, can they drop hard copy applications at the office? I think that is a no. I think what you need to do is to ensure that you get in touch with us for us to facilitate your registration wherever you are. I do not think as a matter of policy that the exam department will take hard copies. Atieno, is there particular dress code, or can I even do exams in jeans? Like for orals, we would suit up. Mr. Afula will pick that up. Okenye, can we apply for HELB within this week and still get the funds? You still can. I think you just need to put in your application. They will process it. They will issue us with a notice that they are processing your application, and we will be able to keep in touch with them. When again, what led to the change in exam date from June that most of us were relying on to April? George will pick that up. When I think you also recognize this is an election year, we need to get a lot of things out of the way, but exams will pick that up. Baraza, fees not reflecting in the portal, and finance office not responding to emails. Leah, could you please pick that up? Shaban, HELB disbursement to CLE for purposes of registration. What is the question? Kimingi, are we being kicked out for others to be admitted? Konuche, maybe you can answer Kimingi. Now, Kimathi is asking, do we need to pay the fees before you can register for the exam? Musioka is saying that he thought it was just him and celebrating that he's not the only one in problems. Albert, kindly address the issue of overpayments and the period it takes to refund students. I think that's as far as I will go for now, so that Leah, you can pick up the 3 or 4 issues and George the 2 or 3 policy issues. But we will start with Iganji, who is also having an application pending for approval. And we have explained that. Joshua is thankful for the dates. Pembere has been told the meeting is full. And Jane says transcripts are not available on the portal, and we should advise how she or he can get the same, so that I know how I have performed and decide whether to remark or receipt. So let's start with those, Leah, and then I'll pick up from Moshiri.
Once more, thank you, Mary. Project benefiting from the project and oral marks. Once you've not sat a paper, like I said, you can register for 2 or 3 papers. All units you have not sat for, you benefit from those marks. Those marks are submitted to us, and at the time you will be able to register, you should be able to benefit from them. People who at the moment do not benefit, or the activity you can't benefit from your oral project marks at the moment, is when you are receiving any unit. So anytime you register, you should be able to benefit from your oral and project marks if you are not receiving that unit. That one is there. I want to believe it is clear enough. Compensation of lost time. Like I said, in fact, if the system were working as we expect, registration should take less than a week. Online registration, and we give 1 whole month for registration. In fact, anybody hearing of it would wonder whether this is online registration. So the time we've given is just too much for online registration. We, in the future, think of even making it a week or so, because that is too long a time. You can register any time of the day, you can register any time of the week, but we are stabilizing the integrity of the system so that it is, once it stabilizes, we should be able to make communication. So the answer is no. There's nothing like lost time. We've given enough time within which to register, and it's a personal decision whether you are ready to sit now or you may want to sit the other time when it's next offered, and especially if you are within the stipulated ATP program time. Mary has already responded to modes of registration. Registration is online, so the aspect of dropping hard copies is not applicable. You can't register in any other form other than online. The dress code, I now will mention it, but Anne will come in again to emphasize it. To us, you need to trace decently. The word decence, you can look at it maybe in a relative way, but you belong to a profession. Don't forget that. You belong to a profession, and therefore the profession has its own dictates, and you need to portray that image everywhere you go, anytime you go. There are no times when you will cease to be an advocate, and there are times when you become an advocate. You should be able to portray the professional image wherever you go. But like I've already said, Anne will have to emphasize on it. But to our part, I want to say, be traced decently. Change of exam dates. When you are talking that you are used to June, I don't know, because I thought we are dealing with new candidates, and therefore we have to give them the direction of the dates. We are not new in this world about the COVID and how it disrupted everything. And therefore our the exam dates are closely related to the timetable at the school. We can't stick to June when the class is ending in February. So the disruption of COVID is not an excuse, but I want us to be able to be flexible, to be able to get the communication, because we do not have fixed dates for the examination. It is more often dependent on the timetable of the school. And the school was not spared when it came to COVID disruption. Neither was the council spared when it came to it. So we are responding accordingly to the global issues, that we can't stick to June because people are used to it, even those who had not registered as examination candidates. The overpayment issue, Blair will respond to it. Mary alluded to it already, that some of our candidates are placed, maybe they get money from here, they get money from everywhere. And once that happens, it is a process. Finance issues are a process. And therefore it has first to be received, and the money would be communicated to an individual who paid the money, when to get the same. But let Leah talk about it as she addresses other issues as raised.
Okay. Concerning payment, this is the process. You first pay at the bank, or if you're using M-Pesa, pay, and then in the portal, select the units. I must say that when you're paying, kindly put in your right candidate number, the correct candidate number. Yes, the payment should be real time, such that when you pay, you can be able, in a few minutes time or few seconds, it will reflect, and then you can be able to select your units. But possibly, if it cannot reflect on your portal, probably it means there was an error with your candidate number, the details that you furnished the bank, or if it's M-Pesa, the details that you furnished, that platform is incorrect, and so we cannot be able to map your candidate number with your account. So kindly put in the right candidate number, or any information, correct information that is needed from you upon payment. If you're still finding challenges with the reflection, you've put that you've put in your right details, kindly use the email address that I have given you. The calls can be overwhelming, but use the email address. I'll repeat: examinations@cle.or.ke. They are coming in masses. We are trying our level best to respond, but we will respond. We will try responding accordingly and immediately. And as I'll just say on the communication, please, when you are finding challenges with paying or you have any inquiry, kindly start on the subject of your email. Kindly just put your candidate number so that we address your issue immediately. So if you just say your Tieno or Pio or Mary Mowore, we know you with your candidate number. You'll give us a hectic time trying to find out, who you are. So give us the right information, that is your candidate number on the subject, and then we'll be able to sort you out quickly. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah. Joshua is saying, CLE, please respond to emails. Thank you for feedback. We will work on it.
Thanks. Button mute.
Pardon?
My name is Kelvin.
Yes, Kevin.
And I'm a visually impaired student. I would like to ask a question on behalf of students with disabilities, since we cannot be able to chat on the chat zone.
Okay, go ahead.
What are the plans or the preparation by the CLE in regards to persons with disability and examination?
All right, thank you so much. We will pick that up. We have an elaborate arrangement, so we will note that. George, we can pick that up. Thank you. Kaguta, I don't understand what is stressful, but we will deal with it. Can OH please mute? Thank you. Now, OH, could you please mute? Jumba is asking, a student was to take their last chance receipt in June according to Somalia Communication. She is asking whether their June chance still stand or they should work on getting into April sitting. Jumba, please tell the student that the board lifted the moratorium on the 5-year rule effective November last year to November this year. It is in situ for a year. If they don't take advantage of that, then we revert to default settings, which is if you run out of the 5 years, you restart the program. So whoever is in this meeting and is out of time, you may want to make that application before November, because then the moratorium will lift. Njeri, you don't respond to queries. Kindly improve on that, or is it better to come to your offices? Thank you for the feedback, Njeri. Leah has been able to make a comment on that, but she can also weigh in more. Tirop is asking for the examination timetable. Which unit do we start with? Exams will pick that up. Otieno HELB says that Treasury has not released the money to them. What should we do? Oh, that's interesting. All right, I think between the presentations by Ms. Leah and George, I will call HELB and see whether I can respond to that, Otieno. Wanusu examination timetable. Gedaiga can't join, but he's texting, so I don't know what's happening. And Gima, would a student who does not register for the exam in this April series suffer any consequences? Exam will pick that up. Wambua, my registration for exams, my application is pending verification, cannot be edited. What is the meaning of that? I think we have clobbered that effectively. Rivaldo, I've been kicked out and unable to join. My question, why did CLE decide to schedule the exam in April and not June? I think that has been addressed by Mr. Afula. Bidhi, after registration, which emails are supposed to be sent by CLE? Have they been sent? Leah pick that up. Nyango, I've been kicked out of the meeting. Konuche, Mercy, or rather, how do I access the portal once I've submitted the registration? Exams. Jerry is asking, do you defer if you have not paid the fee? All right, Leah. Mudami, when is the next examination after the one for March? Is it November? Nyaga is asking, hello, we appreciate this session. Kindly clarify to us on the issue of exam fee disbursement from HELB. Some of us have received notifications of approval of fees, but disbursement of the fund is yet to be effected. Will CLE therefore allow us to register for the exams on the basis of the approval, or do we just wait till HELB has transferred funds to CLE? Nyaga, the transfer of funds from HELB to CLE is an administrative matter. Ideally, it shouldn't bar you from registration or interfere in any way with your registration. I know that we approved a list yesterday from HELB. So what you can do is to get in touch with examination department, and they would be able to see if your name is among those and then be able to facilitate registration, because this is back office operations. They shouldn't ideally affect your registration after you have been notified of approval of disbursement. Butaki, when are we receiving our project work results, Konuche? When will the timetable be released from Jage? And Chalo, you do not respond to emails. Thank you for the feedback. We've taken that up. Farah says, I have been kicked out of the meeting. Somebody facilitate Farah. Molly is asking for the examination timetable. Joshua is asking about a response to email, which we haven't responded to. Mugambi, I think the issue of dress code has been addressed, clobbered effectively. Hawala, if one differs with their project marks and oral marks, if one differs, will their project marks and oral marks still count? George, I think you responded to that. I'll take the last two. Kyoko, project marks, kindly. School, Natalie, do we have to pay the same time we register? And finally, Ojambo is asking, why are we yet to receive our project marks? So I think I'll allow Leah and George to respond to that. I'll pick up from Mahmoud after that, who's asking about project marks. Anga, who's asking about dress code, and it has been addressed. And Jerry, do we need to have paid to register for exams? I think we have asked that. So we'll start with Sago when we come back. Thank you, George and Leah.
You had asked my question earlier.
Yes.
But it has not been addressed on transcripts not being available on the portal.
Available. All right. All right. Leah, maybe start with that. Thank you.
It may not be accurate to say that the transcripts are not available. We have to deal with case to case. So if an individual has an issue with their transcript, I think it would be fair to deal with case to case. Overgeneralization may look a bit fallacious, that it is not entirely true. If there is a problem, I think let it be dealt with as an individual issue, but the transcript should be ideally be available. If there is a technical hitch with the system, it can be addressed when one has drawn our attention. Otherwise, it wouldn't be right to generalize that transcripts are not available. It may not be entirely true. I'll talk about the timetable. The timetable is, registration more often has not even ended, but the timetable will be put up latest Monday next week, but we are working on it. It should be either tomorrow, because it's no problem putting up a timetable. So it's already decided and we should be able to put it up, and we shall move with the speed to have it up on our portal for our candidates to be able to prepare accordingly. The next examination series, we shall announce it. Normally we put a notice. We put a 2 weeks, 14-day notice that there is going to be registration, and we put the examination dates. So normally we shall put a notice to that effect. This is informed by the fact that we do not know what's ahead of us. You never know, COVID or whichever other form will come. So normally when the right time comes, we give our candidates ample time to put a notice about our intent to administer the exam at a given date. At the moment, we have no date for the next exam, but we have dates for the current examination for those who are ready to register. So there will address the issue of the visually impaired persons and the challenged persons in whichever way, because this is not the first group we are having. We've had colleagues who have had the same challenges, and we shall want to isolate them and be able to deal with them at a very individual level, including taking them to some institutions for professional guidance. That far we go, but Leah will deal with it immediately.
Okay, thank you. Candidates with special needs, let me just say that we will give you a fair platform so that you can be able to, answer the questions appropriately. We will give you special accommodation, and we'd want to know who you are. In the portal, as you're registering, there is a provision, there's a field for you to put in those details, but also because of the special accommodation that council has to plan for and all that, we do not mind you giving us this information on email. You can just jot us an email. On the subject, just write a candidate with special need, and then now you just outline the special accommodation that you need. Here we are dealing with candidates with visual impairment. If you have an NCPWD number, those are the things that you must have when this is the information we'll ask for in the portal. And don't you worry, we will accommodate you. As my colleague, Mr. Afula, has said, we even go to the extent of partnering with other institutions that will help us, accommodate you fully, so that, again, you can have a fair platform for you to be able to write the examination. So the email address, I had already said it before, it's examinations@cle.or.ke. Yes, jot us an email. Okay, I will continue with the other questions. On approval, there's someone who asked, once I submit, I think the question was, I cannot be able to edit my application. Once you have submitted, there we assume that you have paid, you have selected your units, you have put in your biodata, and you have uploaded all the documents that we need. Now, we cannot allow you to edit, because it is, once you click the submit button, it comes to us and then we verify. Once we reject an application, that is when it will go back to you and it is editable. Once we reject, it's an opportunity for you to furnish the information or the documents that you have not furnished us. Those are the only candidates that I can say can be able to edit the applications. So do not expect when you submit to also be able to edit, because like Mr. Afula has just said, the administrative logistics that go on, that is when we are approving the application. So don't expect to continue editing your application while we are approving. On emails, we are going to work on it. Kindly, there's someone who asked, once you submit an application, do we have to write an email? No, we know what is expected from us. Please don't write emails. Don't write emails saying, oh, kindly approve me. We know what we are meant to do, and we are doing it as fast as you can. Please remember, they are over 1,000, close to 2,000, or even possibly 3,000 applications that we are receiving within a very short time. So kindly give us time for us to be able to do our work, to approve. If you need to, if you get a rejection and it's still not clear what you're meant to do, or you're having challenges furnishing us with the documents, you are the only people who need to, I can say, interact with our email and tell us the challenges that you're getting. So please don't write us emails telling us to approve your application. We are doing that. Again, on deferral, we said that you must register for you to be able to defer. and the window for deferral will be open. I mean, don't register and then expect to defer. Remember, I said the process is you apply, we approve, and then there'll be a window. Once we publish the list of candidates, that is when you'll be able to defer. There's a window, I think it is a week or 2 weeks before the examination. That is when you will be able to defer. So it's not any time. And I can assure all the people, all the candidates, potential candidates, because you're potential candidates until you get an approval from us, that we will publish a list of candidates who have fully registered, even the units that you have registered for. And this will be an assurance that you have fully complied with us, and it will be a confirmation that your application is in good order. Again, I said on the registration process, you pay first, and then you will be able to go to your student portal and select the units that you want. It cannot be done the other way around. Selection of units and then pay, no. Pay first, and then you go and select the units. I will encourage us. This, even for the candidates who have successfully applied, this is why I'm saying this is, there are others that we rejected yesterday and others that were approved by us, at least from yesterday. The process is a bit tedious, especially on uploading of the documents, putting in your biodata. But you can imagine if we all waited the last day. I just want to encourage us, please do not wait for the last day. You will be locked out, and like Mr. Fuller said, we don't have the luxury for time. We will not extend time. In fact, I have gone ahead and counted the number of hours that we have, and there are 720 hours for you to be able to register. That is from when we open registration to the last day of registration. You can register at any time, midnight, up until the last day of registration, and at the comfort of your homes and offices or wherever you are. So kindly I urge you, do not wait for the last 5 days. Please make use of this time when the system is, the traffic on the system is not as much, so that you don't have challenges in uploading the documents and giving us your biodata. Thank you.
Mary?
Thank you, George and Leah. I have called HELB on the issue of that they are not disbursing because Treasury has not released the money. That is not factual. I think every time you get a communication from an organization that is not adding up to you, I think it's good to confirm with the info email in an organization so that you can get the most accurate information. So HELB is disbursing, so nobody should feel like they are going to have issues. The last time when we had issues with M-Pesa or HELB, CLE was able to administratively ensure those candidates are registered because it was no fault of their own. So whatever administrative steps need to be taken to accommodate candidates who are registering after the HELB loan, or if you have challenges with M-Pesa, Council is not oblivious to its role in ensuring that we deliver the service. So that should not be an issue. Now, Edith, I have paid exam fees, but the portal still pops up that I do not have sufficient funds. That is an issue that we can address. So, Leah, you pick that up. Pamba, kindly put a version of the answers in the chat when questions are answered so we don't repeat them. Okay, thank you. Most of us are locked out. Can ICT help? Mudumba, is it a requirement that before registration we should have oral and project marks? Has CLE received our orals and project marks? Konucha, you still have something to answer there. ICT had asked that you channel your questions to us, and then Edith says, but they do not reply. It's been 2 weeks now and we have not received any response from them. So Leah, we picked that feedback. Richo, could you ask about the exact date for the next time they will offer exam other than March? I think George has clobbered that effectively. ICT, they're asking for you to facilitate a YouTube link. Onyangor, ICT, please record this meeting. I have been kicked out. Mwirigi, when is HELB releasing the funds to the respective approved persons? Now, the list, once HELB has approved your application, they give you the notification of approval. I think what you can do is to follow up with CLE so that we can facilitate the portal, to open the portal to allow you to complete registration. But HELB should not ideally be a clutch for you registering, especially when they have given approval of the disbursement. Kiari is asking, in case of deferral, when is the next exam date? Airo is asking, there is a persistent error. There is a persistent error on CLE registration portal, error 500. Kindly address the issue. George, you may want to pull Teddy in on this. Gima, would a student who does...
I want to register for
somebody,
a few exams.
Yangao Winfrida, could you please mute? Ngima is asking, would a student who does not register for exams in this April series suffer any consequences due to lack of funds or unavailability during exam period? I think we have sort of addressed that, but Leah can complete it for completeness. Ngana is asking what happens when your HELB was disbursed, but it doesn't appear on the CLE website on the amount awarded. I think you should get in touch with CLE so that then the portal can be opened for you to be able to register. As I said, HELB should not defer or deter you from completing registration. Wawero asking, I keep getting a pop-up to the effect that I do not have sufficient funds to complete registration. As I said, this is a real issue. The exam department can tell you how to go about it. Ongiro, hey, I've been kicked out. Someone get him in. Otieno, can we use the bank option to pay, or only the M-Pesa option is recommended? George, please pick that up. Kairi is asking, they say the M-Pesa is recommended. Well, Kairi just tried to answer that. Baraza, examination email doesn't respond to emails. Feedback there. Nyamolo is asking, George, your team needs to be more customer focused. I find CLE quite unresponsive to their client needs. I was disappointed personally. Let's be more responsive. George, that's feedback. Kabiti, when is the next schedule of exams? I think we've clobbered that. Osero, when will the exam be offered next? We have clobbered that. Muduri, we need an exam timetable for out-of-office arrangements at work. When do we expect that? I think George said that is Monday. Lumbasio, can a student choose to write exam within KSL instead of being taken to an examination center outside? E.g., instead of being taken to Casneb or Bomas, especially if they live within the school. Leah, you can pick that up. Otieno, hello CLE, I lost my NEC certificate. I was advised by CLE to apply for a verification certificate from NEC. I've done so. The certificate has been sent to CLE. How do I proceed with the registration minus that verification certificate of KCSE? Kindly advise, Leah, you can pick that. I'll pick the last two, then we allow for response. Armas is asking, what is the lead time between verification and approval? 2, will you get a notice if you require further documentation? 3, will we pick exam centers and venues on the portal, or is it allocated? And 4, what time do exams generally start? Ajumba is asking, when is the next exam series? Answered, Deche, if a person has applied to register for exam but do not approved, do you refund the money paid? But I think we get the question. finally, Onyango, what measures do CLE have in place for candidates with disability? I think we've covered that. So maybe George and Leah, you can pick that. We'll start with Were from there. Thank you.
Sorry, Mary.
Yes.
Where what is the particular question so that I address it?
We will start with Were when we come back. So maybe answer the ones ahead of that. Yeah.
All right. So I'm answering the question on how to pay fees. Kindly refer to General Notice number 1 of 2022 on the registration for the April 2022 exam. There are two options. Please read paragraph 1. It guides you on how to pay fees. So it's not only M-Pesa. I will move on to the next question on KCSE certificate. I think that candidate, I personally assisted them. I believe you went to NEC and you were given a receipt. The receipt, that is what you should upload. Where you need to upload the KCSE certificate. With that, we will check the uploads and we'll be able now to look for that KCSE certificate. I believe probably it has, we have received it or it's on its way. But please do that should, you not having that certificate should not make you wait until when we will acknowledge. Upload that receipt from NEC. So please do it as soon as possible. On the examination centers, I know when you are registering, there are 2 examination centers that are available. I can say, let me not say examination center, examination locations that are available, Nairobi or Nakuru. Choose whichever. There we will know that those who have selected Nakuru, and Nairobi will be able to know the number of candidates that have picked these 2 locations, and later that is when we'll give you a detailed outline of the venues in Nakuru and Nairobi. And this, I assure you, where you will be placed on the examination card, the specific location, the specific venue, which goes up until the room that you will sit in, that information will be in your examination card. So your role right now during registration is to select the examination location, either Nakuru or Nairobi. I think we are together there. On approvals again, yes, we are going to approve. Someone has asked, if I don't get an approval, what happens? Will I need to request for a refund? We will approve you. What you need to do is just put in an application, and the rest, like Mr. Afula said, your role is to put in an application and just give us time to approve. Like I said, you're uploading documents, at least 5 documents, and there's bio data, and we actually sit down and look at each and every information that you have furnished us. It's going to take time, that I can assure you, but way before the examination, you will be approved. And if there is a rejection that will be done, even as some of your colleagues, I think I mentioned 10 of them, got rejections. Why? It's because they have not furnished a document or there's some information that it's not in order. Even those candidates, they'll be given a chance within this time period or even after registration to furnish that specific document as long as they have applied before the deadline. I hope that is in order. So we will approve. Please do not request for refunds. We will approve. That is your role. Again, on reflection of fees, if you find that it is not reflected, please jot us an email, and we will liaise with finance to have that rectified.
That's about it, Mary, unless there's something we've not addressed, but that's our response.
Okay, thank you, George. Where is asking, what if I've already uploaded a picture of my physical passport? I think they'll deal with that. Ngoge, are you allowed to defer one unit, or deferral applies to all exams? Kevuva is asking, having challenges in registration, can't even go beyond biodata. Mugo is asking, is payment a prerequisite to registering for the exam? I think we have already responded to that. Jumbo, we have responded to the issue of the next time the exam will be offered. Airo, should bursary checks be banked or deposited with CLE? That will be picked up by Leah and Tim. Jage, we have clobbered the issue of exam timetable. Mutie, someone had an accident and can't write properly due to the injury, which has not gotten better. What happens to such cases in as far as exam is concerned? Leah, please, George, you can pick that up, and Leah. Gitonga, we have a clobbered dress code. Otago, must we use our personal numbers for M-Pesa payment? We will deal with that. Cherop, will there be an extension of the registration time? That is unlikely to happen. On Sierra, when will you offer the next exam? Clobad. Babale, hi, I have paid fees but has not reflected in my portal. I think Leah just addressed that. Obey, kindly clarify on the dress code. We have done that. Onyango, ICT, create another link. Kimathi, do you have to pay exam fees before you can register? I think we have addressed that. Mubweka, should we adhere to the advocate's dress code during the exam period? We have addressed that. Lumbasio, can a student choose to write exam within KSL instead of being taken to an exam center outside DG, being taken to Kasne, Bomas? I think we have addressed that. Otieno, you're jumping some question. HELB says money not yet disbursed by Treasury. That to Jipange, what do we do? Otieno, that is not factual. As I said, the issue of disbursement of funds to CLE is an administrative matter. It shouldn't at all affect your registration. So once you have had your confirmation of disbursement, come to CLE. We will facilitate registration for you. The issue of whether HELB sends the money tomorrow morning or to CLE, or whether Treasury has sent the money to HELB, those are administrative issues that should not affect you. As a government institution, we should shield you from administrative mishaps like that, and that is what will happen. Githaiga, can we have the exam administered across the country, Mombasa, Eldoret, Nakuru? I think we are working on that, Githaiga, small steps. We are now in Nakuru. We have every intention of devolving and liberalizing this exam. So those are part of our strategy for the remaining 2 years. Disho is setting and marking of the exam. What consideration has the school made with the knowledge that we have been studying online, especially for such units such as LPM accounting, which is technical? George can pick that up. I'll pick the last two, Nyang'au. There was information that M-Pesa is preferable, but that might be impossible for some of us considering the people paying that amount prefer bank payments. Will we have challenges during registration? Please pick that up, George. And the last question I want to pick is from Nyabio. Which is the most effective channel for payment of fees?
Just come again, the last question preceding what you are addressing now.
There was information that M-Pesa is preferable, but that might be impossible for some of us considering the people paying that amount prefer bank payments. Will we have challenges during registration? And the last two questions are whether, M-Pesa is preferred and which is the most effective. So maybe you can pick that up and we can start with the Kirema from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary, for that coordination. The issue of payment mode, Leah addressed it already, referred you to the general notice, which has been put there, that it is not just M-Pesa. We have other options. Let's read the notice which is there. There are other options besides M-Pesa. So if you choose M-Pesa, that's your preference, but it's not the only one. Do what you think is right. But M-Pesa is one of them. The notice gives more than one option of payment. The aspect of practical units and the house setting, and I don't think that those are methods of teaching which I would want Anne in her response to weigh in. Somebody is asking what has been put in place, bearing in mind that they have learned online and we have practical units. So I want to think the school put in place all the measures to take care of practical units, and Anne may be better placed. But to just mention on setting, the course outline is given by the school, and the questions are set from all the course outline topics. And therefore, the other methods of teaching, how practicals, I think the school must have put in place how the same would be addressed, and I feel incompetent to comment on that, and we say something to that effect. But when it comes to setting and marking, the setting is done as per the course outline provided by the school, and therefore, you are likely to get questions from everywhere. That is about it. An injury, somebody got an accident and they have an injury. Like, that's why we have a form providing for that. The form is telling you if you have any medical issues, any other standing problems, please indicate that. It is from it that you are even being asked, what do you recommend the CLE should put in place to assist you? Generally, we shall have to compile a list of candidates with special needs and address the needs individually. We have those who have writing issues, we may want to look at them, because it's not a first case we are having. We deal with them as need arises. So kindly fill the form to its conclusion. We shall look at the type of problem you have. We shall seek professional advice in bodies that are responsible for whatever situation you are in, and we should be able to accommodate you accordingly. So I can't give a general direction on how each case will be dealt with, but finish up the registration, fill up the form to its completion, and we should be able to isolate those cases and be able to address. We normally even go to an extent of having meetings with the candidates so that we can even be able to, when need arises, take them to these professional institutions for professional guidance. We get in touch with the universities where you are. How are you accommodated? Especially those who have standing impairment here and there. We look at the university, we get in touch with the university deans, and they guide us how they were able to assist you. So we try to make sure that the level ground is met for our candidates who may be having a challenge. So kindly fill up the form to its conclusion, and we shall be able to pull out the cases and be able to discuss with you as an individual when that time.
Hi, Captain. How are you?
Can I finish?
Niko na hiyo chaja yako.
Mwangi Wairimo, could you please
mute so that so on what I have to respond on the deferral of units, I said, and I want to say it again, that you are free to defer all the papers, 9 of them, or you can defer 2 or whichever number depending on your reasons within the stipulated time Leah told you. We shall put a notice out there telling you when to start deferral. This can only be done when you have registered. And once you do that, the units you've deferred, like I already said, you don't lose the oral and the project marks. But once you have sat, currently you will lose those marks, but the units you didn't sit, you will still benefit from your oral and project marks. Let Leah respond to other issues about the portal and the popping up. Yes.
There's something I said on approvals that I want to just clarify so that it does not bring confusion. We are approving the applications that we have received, and we know that the last day of registration is 28th of February 2022, and on the 1st of March 2022 we are still going to approve those candidates who have been submitted their applications. Now, as long as you have registered before the deadline, that is midnight, in fact 11:59 on 28th of February 2022, we will either approve or reject. If we reject, and for example, for you who has registered on that 28th and have checked your application and there's something that is not in order, I will reject that application and give you, it will now go back to you, give you that opportunity to upload the necessary documents or furnish us with the necessary information for us to be able to approve your application and hence be registered for the examination. I will stress again, register before the 28th. And approvals, and this is what I'm saying, approvals will extend until when we finish approving all the people who have registered before 28th of February. So yes, we will have that interaction with you just for approvals after the 28th of February. I think I am clear. I do not want to bring in any confusion that we are accepting applications after the 28th. No, we are going to approve even after the 28th of February. And yes, there will be a back and forth with those candidates who we have rejected the application, only for you to be able to furnish the right information for us to be able to register you for the examination. I think, and I hope that is clear. Again, this issue on dress code is coming up. From you. Like Mr. Afula has said, we are going to publish the examination timetable, and we will also publish the student guide and the examination regulations, so that it tells you your conduct during examination, what is expected of you during the examination administration period. So I believe we'll bring more clarity when we upload those 3 documents: exam timetable, of course, the student guide and examination regulations. On the issue of special considerations, Mr. Afula has responded to it. And also I encourage you to use the email examinations@cle.or.ke. Just write on the subject, special consideration, so that we don't mix up these inquiries. But we would love to have those special considerations as early as now, so that we start working on them. And from your end, if you haven't registered, only register, because who are we accommodating? I mean, you can put in an email and you haven't registered. Who are we accommodating? So like Mr. Afula said, there is a provision for you in that registration, on the registration card on your portal, to put in those details, yeah, so that we can give you that special accommodation that you are requesting for. Someone asked, do I have to use my personal number? I think this is when paying for the fees using M-Pesa. No, you don't have to use your personal number, but like I said before, put in the right details. If mom or dad is paying for you, or your guardian or whoever is paying for you, let them be there with them, let them put the right details. If your number is 2020 1800, let them put that, because that is what we are mapping. Your candidate number is what we are mapping with your portal, because they are linked. And this will make that amount that you have paid reflect, and so you'll be able now to select your units and finish registration. I hope I am clear there. Thank you.
I'm missing a certificate for.
All right, Hassan Carrera, please mute. Kerema, what happens to those whose fees has been paid from the bank or an organization? Do we need to visit the school? Dego is asking, some of us have been kicked out of the meeting. So could you recap on what you said about exam dates and HELB? I said HELB shouldn't be a hindrance. If you have applied and you have a confirmation of disbursement, just bring that confirmation to CLE. CLE will undertake the administrative back office procedures with HELB and facilitate your registration. HELB should not be the clutch for you not effecting registration. Ongwen is asking, upon deferring, does one get to keep their orals and projects? I think we have addressed that. Lepasi is asking, there was a communique last week that CLE prefers payment via phone. How about those of us who would like to use checks? Will they be accepted, or do we have to cash them first, then use M-Pesa? George, could you pick that up on the communication that we prefer M-Pesa? Moturi, on the exam registration deadline, what if HELB hasn't awarded money by 28th February? Does this bar an individual from submitting the application at the last point at the CLE portal? I think commence the registration for HELB. Mali utakwama, we will unplug you administratively between ourselves and HELB. So Moturi, could you, as Leah say, ensure you have put in the application before the 28th? Jane, where does the time start running on the 5-year rule? Does it depend on someone's registration number or the year from the year the rule was implemented? George, pick that up. Can one proceed to do pupillage first, then exams later? Ongwen, George? Otieno is asking, can one pay via other modes such as check? I think we have addressed that. Ajumbo, must I pay the full 45,000 then defer later? Please pick that up, exams. Kobe, what happens when you register on 28th and your application is rejected? Leah has just addressed that. Osero, we request you to reach out to HELB for them to disburse funds within the registration timeline if possible. As I said, start registration. Let us know that you are dealing with HELB. We will unplug it wherever it is plugged between ourselves and HELB. But start registration. For example, Jane Boke Chacha, could you, not that. Sorry, Jane. Somebody mute when you're on stage. Kodiambo, when is the next exam sitting after April? We have dealt with that. Mbidi, what about those who did not get emails confirming payment? George picked that up. Joyce, paid fees on M-Pesa and not through my personal number. Is that in order? I think we've addressed that. Ogaro, we are hoping to know the Nakuru venue by today. So one registers knowing that already. How soon can we get this information from procurement? George picked the Nakuru venue issue. Nyakabaria, how does one submit an affidavit when there is a difference in ID names? I think he had asked this before, someone had asked this before. Leah, could you pick up this issue about differentiation of names and affidavits? Ombogi is asking, upon deferring, when can one do the exam? Will it be during the next exam, main exam, or receipts? Ombogi, I don't think we distinguish ordinary and receipt series for purposes of a candidate wanting to sit an exam. But George can clean that up for us. Kisotu, I think we have dealt with M-Pesa. Wabwire, affidavit question not answered. Yes, I have noticed that, and thank you for bringing it up again. Leah, please pick up the issue of affidavit. Nyaga, if you have paid exam fees and are not able to sit in April, is the same carried forward to the next exam if offered, George? I successfully registered from 1-0, but I haven't received an email. What could be the issue?
Mary, a question preceding that.
If you pay your exam fees and are not able to sit in April, is the same carried forward to the next time the exam, if offered? The exam will always be offered, Nyaga, the next time the exam when offered. So George will pick that up to answer. Wanjiro is asking about having not received an email after registration. I think Alea has been able to address that. Sago, if CLE gets back to us after the deadline with changes to be made, will we be time barred? No. I think Leah has cleaned that. So we don't need to answer that again, Sago, unless there's another issue. Derek, if HELB fails to disburse by 28, that does mean that they'll be locked out, even if approval has been communicated to them. I think we have cleaned up the issue of HELB. Make sure your application is in. Leave the administrative aspects of disbursement to us. Ajumbo, please tell us the next exam date. We have really inquired on this. I think, Ajumbo, this has been answered severally by George. I think what you're not getting is 15th of November or a date like that, because we also have to plan effectively. I think the fact that George has said we will communicate the next date within reasonable time, Ajumbo, see that should be sufficient. Mwangi, what is the status on the bank payment? We have been told that we shouldn't pay using the bank. I don't think that is factual, Mwangi. But George, could you please clean up the issue for us about bank payment? We will answer that so far. We will start with the Leinte, which is the one on disbursements, and you're not locked out, Leinte. Rumunyu, interesting question. How do we register for HELB? Rumunyu, please check for the link on our website. Check for the link in HELB website. Check for the link in KSL. I'm sure KSL have tagged the HELB loan application for us. So please check those 3 places to be able to make your application for HELB. I can assure you, I don't think you're out of time. You still can register. Jage, we have clobbered timetable. Kyoko, this is the last one we will do. What happens if one has misplaced by the ID and it takes 2 weeks to replace? I think we have said any other form of identification will be sufficient for us to be able to identify you. So this should not ideally be an issue. So Leah, George, I invite you. We will start with Ongwen again when we resume. Thank you.
Mary, I have another meeting at 11. I don't know how long we shall go because the questions are being repetitive. I have another meeting at 11 because it was pushed. So I don't know, because I'm getting the repetition of questions. Maybe you may want to consider that. The 5-year rule, the ATP has a duration within which to complete the program. And therefore, once you join, that time you join, time starts to count. I want to think I've responded to that. The aspect of pupillage and examination at the moment is accordingly a personal decision. We do not insist as CLE that on completion of coursework, you register the examination. It's not mandatory, but you are aware time is running. So whichever way you want to look at it, you may want to go for your pupillage, then come to sit the exam. That does not stop time from running. Time keeps running. So the aspect of pupillage, you better can be advised by the school how to commence your pupillage. Otherwise, as CLE, we do not insist that you should do either of the options at a given time, but they will eventually be done within the ATP timelines. Let me talk about the email confirming payments, why they are not getting emails confirming payments. The Nakuru venue, Nakuru is a sender, just like Nairobi, and therefore procurement has its own processes. They have to beat out, and the rules to them are so clear within which to have the processes done. They can't do any shortcuts. And I want to believe we gave them time. Once we get the particular venue in Nakuru, they will be able to communicate, and we shall pass the same. So we cannot be able to tell you to be next week or which day. No, procurement has its own rules. After putting the bid out there, they would look at the respondents and other things that go in, which I don't feel competent enough to comment. We have 2 centers. You can choose Nairobi or choose Nakuru. Even the Nairobi people do not know the venue they will sit. It is after you have finished the registration that we shall communicate to you where you will be able to sit, except students with special needs. Those ones are given preference where they feel comfortable, and that will be addressed as an issue on one-to-one with them. When to sit the exam, I don't know what this issue was. Let me talk about this, which is clear payment on defer. Once you have paid your money and deferred, and you've gotten communication from us that you've successfully deferred, your money will be carried forward to a time when you would want to sit the examination. And that time we put a notice out there inviting applicants for that series of the examination. Like you are insisting that we tell you when the next exam will be offered, we have to put a notice inviting applications. So we've not put out a notice inviting applications for the next exam because this is running, and we won't be doing that very soon. So at an opportune time, we shall put a notice inviting applications, and we give you a sufficient time, 2 weeks notice, notifying you about the beginning of registration. Then 1 whole month for registration is time sufficient enough, especially on online registration. So when you have deferred an exam and you've gotten communication from us that you've successfully deferred, the next sitting, when it's announced, you register again for those units you deferred. Don't assume that, because we do not know when you will be interested in registering again, given that your time is also running. It doesn't stop on your defer. Time began when I told you you entered the ATP program, and the ATP program has its own fixed time within which it should be completed. So as you defer, beware, your time is running, and you have to get confirmation that you've deferred so that your money is taken to the next time we will apply, you will not be able to pay again. So the time when you want to sit the exam is a personal choice, like I already mentioned, as long as you are within the ATP program duration, we should be able to take care of that. Other communications about how long we can hold your money as you keep deferring, it's in the student guide, which should be available, and you should be able to read for how long you can defer your paper and still enjoy the monies that you earlier on paid. That apart, I want to welcome Leah to brush them off. Thank you.
Okay. I'll answer the question on candidates who have asked about bursary. They have bursary checks or payment for fees done by other institutions. Please, the finance department have just talked with them, and they are waiting for you. Pop in, cancel. This is just for these candidates who have bursary checks and checks made by other institutions. Please come to the finance department, and they will assist you and ensure, at least by the time probably you leave, that you'll be facilitated on that issue on finances. And please, I just want to urge us, please let us remember that we are still in the COVID period. We need to social distance. So kindly let us make use of the emails if you have any inquiries. I stress you don't have to come here. Please let us use the email. And again, we will try as much as possible to respond to the emails. This is also including the email confirmation on payment. I think after this, we are just going to talk to finance, probably have someone dedicated to ensure that the reflection is done almost immediately so that you can continue with registration. And the issue on affidavit, you can upload this document. As you're uploading the other documents, there is a provision on the upload to upload any document that is going to aid in the registration of the examination. That I am aware of, that there's that provision, and that is where you need to upload an affidavit or any other info, any other document that will help in your registration. I just want to point out something that I noticed when we were approving, when I was personally approving some of the applications. That's from yesterday. We are uploading the passport size photo in the wrong place. Kindly upload the passport size photo on a field on the card, not as an attachment, not the way you are uploading your KCSE certificate or university transcripts. That's not where you are uploading the passport, the digital photo. It is a field. You see where you're putting in your biodata, like your name, down there, there's a place for you to upload the digital photo. Do not upload it as a document in the like the KCSE certificate. On notifications, the system is meant to give you notifications, but if I don't want to confirm that it is doing that, but after this, I think I'm just going to call some of the candidates that I approved yesterday and just find out if they are receiving if they received a notification that you know, their registration was received by us and was successful. If not, then we are going to rectify that with ICT. Again, on bank details, M-Pesa is not an option. Kindly refer to the general notice that general notice number 1 of 2022. And kindly, like I said, please let us not wait to the very last minute. We can get challenges because of the traffic in the system, especially with uploading those documents. They can be heavy. PDF is not such a very light document to upload. Please do not wait until the very last day to register. Thank you.
All right, George, I think I want to take your position that we can't go on forever, so we need to find a way of ending the meeting. Maybe I will just repeat. I went to the bottom of the messages and I only want to make one comment, and then Konuche, you may want to, or ICT may want to moderate this session so that we receive about 2 or 3 or 4, 2 to 5 questions on those that had raised their hands up or something, because we need to bring the meeting to an end. We can't go on and on. I'm asking those people who have very unique situations that we haven't touched in one way or another to maybe ask for clarification. I did say that you can still apply for HELB. Use the check on the CLE website, on the HELB website. I'm hoping that KSL have tagged us on their website, and make the application for the HELB as you would any other application. the process is very elaborate and engaging, you should be able to complete the application within the time. So maybe Anna or ICT KSL can pick up this session and moderate, and we can have 2 to 5 oral questions that are completely unique, that we have not addressed at all. Thank you. Am I to understand there is no question?
Sorry, I'm not able to raise my hand.
Proceed.
My question earlier, I didn't know I was the only person who had an issue with not getting my transcript on the portal. Kindly ICT to advise on the way forward, if they can assist me or if I have to go for a physical transcript at the office.
Okay, any other question?
Yes, good morning. Thank you for the session. Yes, my question is that following what we have heard from our predecessors of those who have gone through the CLE, they tend to suggest that with communication from the student council leadership to the CLE, there is a possibility that during exams, the CLE can get to allow the students to carry calculators during the LPM exam, also maybe the penal code during the criminal litigation paper, and any other material depending on the unit that we get to sit on or for, I mean. So I wish to seek CLE to clarify on that. Is it something that is doable so that we can know what we can get to communicate to our student leadership so that they can get to help us? And also, maybe I wish to bring into your attention of the complaints that many of us are putting on the chat and even in our groups, that there is one staff within the CLE who is, okay, it's a she as they are alleging, that is to some extent rude to the students that get to seek the services from CLE. Kindly, I have not made effort to go to CLE, though I have plans to go there. So I wish to also get to maybe request that something can be done or she can be talked to, because some of us, we are not ready to receive rude people on our way as we get there. And also, maybe to also wish to request that as we will be getting to the registration, I'm requesting that sometimes you find that when you are trying to apply online, you may face some difficulties with the internet or whatever difficulties that one may face. Is it possible that as a student you come along with the required documents, either soft copy or hard copy, so that you can be helped at the CLE to register for the exam? Yeah, thank you.
Good morning, Miss Mary.
Good morning.
I would like clarification. It's kind of a request. From what we have heard, personally, I'm kind of scared, and I was wondering if when you guys are using the course outline to set the exams, do you do maybe like a poll with the students to know if that course outline was followed, or you just set without asking?
Thank you. I've seen that question. All right, thank you. Next, we can take 2 more.
Yes, good morning. I wanted to just to add on to what had been asked before, and I wanted to ask, which can we also carry constitutions, and which act specifically are we allowed to carry, and for which units? And if so, do you provide them or do we carry our own? Another question I wanted to ask was, can someone who has lost their ID use the OB number to show that they've lost their ID, and can that be used as a way to register? Yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jane. Last one.
Good morning, Mary. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Very fine. For some of us who live near KSL or even live inside KSL, what provisions, what provisions do you provide for some of us who would even want to walk into our examination center instead of me being thrown to maybe a different center, which is in a different locality from here? I'm trying to if commuting from maybe KSL maybe to Kasneb or something like that, what provisions are there? And my second question is, there seems to be a disconnect between KSL and CLE. We expect that once KSL had admitted us, they should have uploaded all that information to you guys so that it is very easy for you now to inculcate that in your registrations, so that we don't have to do a double registration once again. If you had links to KSL data, whatever, you would have this in. Thank you. Clarify on that.
Thank you, Mr. Pasauti. I hardly doubt we would throw you anywhere, but we can definitely put in a request. I'm sure Leah will talk about it. I must also assure you that the relationship between the council and the school has never been better. I think what you're suggesting is a good way forward, is feedback. We should be able to take it and to be able to see how we can improve the process. Mr. Okwenye, thank you so much for the feedback. We would like to know, what member of staff you are struggling with as our candidates, and we would be able to maybe make amends and change a few things. Thank you, Pamba, for your comments. We will pick those ones up and respond to them, and then hope that you will be bold enough to write to us, Mr. Okwenye, and tell us where we can make changes in relation to one of our members of staff who you feel has not treated you well. So maybe George, you can pick up the policy issues. Maybe Leah, you can pick up the operational issues, and we will be able to hand over the meeting back to Ms. Konuche. Could I ask Jane and Passaut to put your hands down? Thank you.
Madam, if I may, just one more thing. Will those of us who did not know that we were supposed to upload a digital passport, will our applications be rejected?
Leah will pick that up, Jane. Thank you. Please put your hand down, Mr. Passaut. Yeah, and George.
I want to respond to a few issues that I would be able to, and thereafter I think I would beg to leave because I have a meeting at 11. It's a disciplinary meeting which I'm chairing, and therefore I don't think it will be right to keep also the others waiting. Mary, you are aware of it. The documents, the units in which to carry the documents, the student guide will tell you which unit. Carrying a document like the penal code, it is a candidate coming with a clean. The emphasis is even bolded, clean, because of the experiences we've had where some candidates, not all of them, some try to hide their notes into those documents. Be aware there is a lot of checking of those documents. So don't attempt to come with something which has been used by somebody else. Take time to get your clean copy. It's a clean copy brought by the candidate, the penal code, in a paper 101, that is criminal litigation. During the paper 106, legal practice management, candidates, it's not a must that you bring these documents. You may just come without them, as long as you not reach the examination room and borrow. If you know the penal code overhead, it's not a requirement that you bring. And that's why we say candidates may bring. And when you bring in the penal code, it has to be clean, no writings in it. The same is applicable to LPM, legal practice management, where you may bring in your calculator, which is not noisy, so that you can use to calculate should a need arise. So again, that is a personal decision. We have people who are able to work without those calculators, but you may bring it in. We will not send you away with it. You may come with your calculator as long as it's not the noisy one. You will use it during those papers. So we shall clarify this. Is in the student guide. You will read which day. Once you see the timetable, you will know when to bring the penal code, when to use your calculator, if you must bring and if you must have it. It's not compulsory. It's a personal decision. We say a candidate may bring should they need. And once you need, we shall not stop you. What we will not allow you to do is come without, then start borrowing in the room. That one will amount to collusion, and we shall not hesitate to start some disciplinary measures on you. So get your items, get your equipment. If you need a calculator, if you need a penal code, let it be so clean. It must not have been used by anybody, so that no writings are there, and you start disowning them. That I caught it in the office, and all those explanations that come when you are found. We don't want you to lose that paper, because once we prove that you came in with this document, we shall charge your indent, and that would be through the disciplinary process. So come with a clean document when the paper 101 is being administered, and come with the calculator if you need it when 106. And this will be clarified when we are putting the guide to you for you to read and familiarize yourself with our expectation of you as our candidate. The colleague or a friend who talked about living in School of Law and want to just walk into examination center, we wanted to play it fair to everybody. Those who do not live in School of Law, we have those who live in Kisumu, we have those who live in Turkana. We leave it to the system to be able to allocate you. There is no throwing out. And our examination venues are just around the school. So you are like the farthest could be perhaps Kasnep. So you are not being thrown to other localities. You are not being thrown to other localities. Like I mentioned it already, students who have special needs, those ones we shall attend to them, and we are able to give them specialized centers or venues they want to sit. We can go above the system provisions, but the rest of us, the centers are within the School of Law. We are cooperative, is not very far. And even if we are using POMAS, it's not very far. Our centers are just within the School of Law vicinity. So nobody intends to throw anybody out, but it is done on merit. The system will just allocate you between this and this, and you will be allocated your venue to sit the examination. So, but those with special needs, you would have filled already the information in the portal. We should be able to pick it up and be able to address your concern as a special need candidate to make it available where you think you can be able to sit the exam. I want to call in Leah, and Mary, I don't think I will be available again. I just have to now move. I request.
Thank you, George. Thank you, George. 1 minute, Leah. So I think I want to urge you to read our student guide to the examination. What George is talking about are information that we have put on that guide. We've got, some basic rules: borroweth not, lendeth not. And some of those things can actually land you in disciplinary issues. So please read, be able to consult it, gather as much information as you can from it. If in doubt, send us an email. I think our Twitter handle is now active. You can ask questions there and somebody would be able to respond. But thank you, George. We are actually just going to hand over the meeting just after Leah makes a submission to Ms. Konuche, and we will end. But thank you for taking the time.
So I will respond on assistance during registration. Kindly, we will assist virtually. I have said, let us make use of the email, and we will assist accordingly. Like I said, let us remember that we are still, COVID is still here with us, and so we'd want to social distance. And you see, we are approving right now. So there are some of you who have been successful in uploading those documents. So kindly, if you know any candidate who has been, who has submitted, just consult them. And but we are not going to have masses here. Let us remember we have COVID with us. And like I said, on the email, just start with your candidate number as the subject, so that we can address the issues immediately. We don't want a back and forth, or what is your number? That those will be how many, like maybe 10 emails before we sort you out. No, and remember, like I told you, we have so many emails that are coming. So kindly these inquiries. And the last one, on the application, the candidates who have not uploaded scanned photos, right now we are approving. I don't know. Let us reject your application, act on it, and finish the registration process. I don't want to say that we will give you a chance. Like I said earlier, once you submit an application, you won't be given a chance to edit it. So give us time. If we feel that we can use it, well and good. If not, we'll reject it, give you an opportunity to upload another one. Thank you.
Thank you. Konuche, we hand over the meeting back to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mary. Thank you, Leah. Thank you, Wafula. I think they'll stop asking me questions now. They've been asking me a lot of questions. I believe all their questions have been answered. And I think because time is far gone and there's another guest lecture, we'll just release everyone. Right now, you can join the guest lecture on professional ethics. I think it's about to start. And for CLE, thank you so much for your time. And I wish everybody a good day.
There's a very
pertinent on the project mark.
Oh, the project mark. Sorry.
Yes.
On the project mark, we are working on it. I cannot give a definite date on when they'll be out unless I consult, because it's the academic services that key in the marks. So I think the keying in is still ongoing. Let me give communication to your leaders by the end of today on the possible dates that you'll get the results.
All right, thank you, Anna. I guess we can leave, so you're left to do institutional housekeeping.
Sawa, thank you, bye.
Bye-bye, thank you, and I wish you all the best.
You too. Okay, guys, you can go to class. There's a guest lecture for professional ethics. The Advocates Complaints Commission is here. You can join them, or any other class that is ongoing. Project work, I will communicate.